Hello and welcome to Olive Board. Today's lesson is the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is a well-known global tourist destination. Along with recreational tourism, it has a vast scope for adventure, pilgrimage, spiritual and health tourism. After a gap of almost 7 years of presidential rule, Jammu and Kashmir witnessed the return of an elected government in the year 1996. The composition of Jammu and Kashmir economy has undergone a sizable transformation since then. In these two pie charts, we can see the changes undergone by Jammu and Kashmir from 1996 and 97 to 2018 and 19. The all India level share of the primary sector at 19.90% is almost at the same level with that of Jammu and Kashmir at 19%. Contribution of industry sector at 25.33% at all India level is well ahead of Jammu and Kashmir's 23%. The services sector at national level slices 54.77% share in the pie compared to Jammu and Kashmir's 58%. Now let us look at the per capita income of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir's per capita income in the financial year 1996-97 was rupees 6,978, whereas the all India average for the same period was rupees 9,007. That is, it was approximately 29% higher than that of Jammu and Kashmir. Currently, the all India per capita income is 34% higher than that of Jammu and Kashmir. From 1996-97, Jammu and Kashmir's per capita income grew at a dismal rate of 1.90% only. Then from 2001 to 2009-10, it grew at an average rate of 3.15%. And from 2010-11 to 2018-19, it registered an average growth of 4.13%. The all India average for the same periods clocked at 3.70%, 5.53%, and 5.82% respectively. The economy of Jammu and Kashmir is primarily service-based and agri-oriented. The gross state domestic product, that is GSDP, increased by 10% from 2015-16 to 2018-19 and was rupees 1.56 trillion in 2018-19. A vast natural resource base has enabled Jammu and Kashmir to develop land for cultivating major fruits like apples, plums, cherries, walnuts, etc. Food processing and agro-based industries thrive in the Union Territory. Jammu and Kashmir also has Asia's largest tulip garden, which attracts many tourists every year. The Union Territory is also famous for its small-scale and cottage industries, some of which are carpets, silks, shawls, basketry, pottery, copper and silverware, papier-mâché, and walnut wood. Now let us look at the highlights of the Jammu and Kashmir economy. In 2019, 10 investments worth rupees 346 crore were proposed in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir has an industrial policy that offers attractive incentives along with a single window clearance mechanism. NHIDCL, that is the National Highway Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited, is developing 5 tunnels in the Union Territory at a cost of 3.42 million US dollars, which will be completed by the year 2024. Cumulative FDI inflow, that is the cumulative foreign direct investment inflow during April 2000 to September 2019 was valued at $6 million. Horticulture industry plays a vital role in Jammu and Kashmir's economic development. The total production of horticulture crops in the Union Territory in 2018-19 stood at 3.96 million tons with 414.47 thousand hectares area under production. Jammu and Kashmir is a leading producer of apples and walnuts. About 150,000 meters of silk cloth is produced per annum in Jammu and Kashmir. 57,920 foreign tourists and 16.16 million domestic tourists visited Jammu and Kashmir in the year 2019. The government has set some visions of economy for Jammu and Kashmir in different areas. In the skill development area, the government aims to develop vocal training centers. In the industry sector, industrial growth with focus on employment is the aim. For environment, the government aims to conserve forests and the shrinking natural water resources. In the infrastructures area, the government aims to make Jammu and Kashmir self-sufficient in energy supply. For agriculture, the government wants to develop fisheries and promote organic farming in Jammu and Kashmir. For tourism, the government aims to develop ecotourism and promote rural tourism as well. For investment promotions, the government aims to create an environment to attract private investment and create jobs. For the transport sector, the government wants to enhance rural connectivity and public transport in Jammu and Kashmir. Now let us look at the percentage distribution of GSVA, that is gross state value added, for Jammu and Kashmir. The GVA shock intensity, that is the gross value added shock intensity, is measured as each state's share in the gross state value added, that is GSVA. For Jammu and Kashmir in 2019-20, GSVA for the different sectors were as follows. For the manufacturing sector, it was 9.4%. For the agricultural sector, it was 15%. For the service sector, it was 57.1%. And for the construction sector, it was 8.3%. The major contributors in the economic growth of Jammu and Kashmir are electricity and services sectors. Also, numerous business opportunities in agriculture, handloom, and handicrafts exist in Jammu and Kashmir. What is the export trend in Jammu and Kashmir? The major exports are RMG wool, drug formulation, and biological and man-made yarn. During the financial year 20, RMG wools from Jammu and Kashmir stood at 31.19 million US dollars. It was 21.28% of the total export. The next big exports was drug formulation and biologicals, while all other exports that do not include yarn, carpet, chemicals, etc. contributed 23.97% of the total exports. Let us look at some of the industrial estates in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir has many agri-processing zones for the fruits they produce like apples and walnuts. There are some industrial growth centers as well at Samba and Budgam. We also have a textile park in the district Kathua. Now let us look at the key sectors of Jammu and Kashmir. The first one is agriculture and allied activities. The state level sanctioning committee approved around rupees 601 crores annual action plan of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana for the year 2020-21. In this table, we can see the annual production in the year 2018 and 19 of different crops produced in Jammu and Kashmir. The first one is obviously apple, which was produced at 1,744,000 tons in the year 2018 and 19. The next one is rice, followed by honey. The other major crops produced in Jammu and Kashmir were wheat, spices, onion, pulses, oilseeds, and some vegetables. The next key sector is handicrafts and handlooms. Kashmiri silk carpets are famous globally and earn substantial foreign exchange for India. Kashmir willow, which is a type of wood, is used to make high-quality cricket bats. The cottage handicraft industry provides direct employment to around 3,40,000 artisans in Jammu and Kashmir. The Jammu and Kashmir Handicraft Sales and Export Promotion Corporation and the Jammu and Kashmir State Handloom Development Corporation have been established to promote the growth and development of this sector in Jammu and Kashmir. In this graph, we can see the exports from Jammu and Kashmir of man-made yarn and carpets, which are handmade. The next key sector in the Jammu and Kashmir economy is tourism. Jammu is famous for its temples, while Kashmir Valley is known for its scenic beauty. This sector provides employment to many people. There are many tourist attractions in the Union Territory. Some of the major tourist attractions are the Dal Lake, Gulmarg, and Vaishno Devi Temple. The next key sector is sericulture. Kashmir is known for the quality of its silk and the traditional silk weaving industry. Jammu and Kashmir's Sericulture Development Department organizes cocoon auction markets in the Union Territory every year to facilitate farmers to sell their cocoon produce at competitive rates. In 2016-17, about 973 million tons of cocoons were produced in Jammu and Kashmir. Now let us look at the annual budget of Jammu and Kashmir 2021-22. The Gross State Domestic Product (GSDP) for 2021-22, the GSDP of Jammu and Kashmir at current prices was estimated to be rupees 2,01,054 crores. Let us look at some of the revenue expenditures. In the administrative sector, the total revenue budget of this sector is rupees 12,460 crore, of which expenditure to the extent of 71% is expected to be spent on the Home Department. In the social sector, the total revenue budget is rupees 21,691 crore, of which expenditure to the extent of 51% is expected to be spent on the Education Department. In the infrastructure sector, the total revenue budget is rupees 29,059 crores, of which expenditure to the extent of 60% is expected to be spent through the Finance Department. In the economic sector, the total revenue budget is rupees 5,464 crores, is rupees 5,464 crore, of which expenditure to the extent of 28% is expected to be spent on the Forest Department. Now let us look at the capital expenditures for the same sectors. For the administrative sector, the total capital budget is rupees 2,067 crore, of which expenditure to the extent of 66.91% is expected to be spent on the Home Department. For the social sector, the total capital budget is rupees 4,920 crores, of which expenditure to the extent of 29.59% is expected to be spent on the Health and Medical Education Department. In the infrastructure sector, the total capital budget is rupees 8,467 crores, of which expenditure to the extent of 56.89% is expected to be spent on the Rural Development Department. For the economic sector, the total capital budget is rupees 24,363 crores, of which expenditure to the extent of 26% is expected to be spent on the Public Health Engineering Department. Now let us look at the highlights of the budget for the rural economy. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. 1,17,419 houses are to be completed during 2021-22 in order to provide shelter in the form of Pakka houses to the eligible rural families who are living in Kacha, that is dilapidated houses. Himayat DDU GKY. 39,113 number of candidates to be trained and 20,912 number of candidates to be placed in jobs during the year 2021-22. National Rural Livelihood Mission. 16,000 self-help groups and 1,600 number of village level organizations should be formed during 2021-22. 24,866 SHGs to be provided revolving fund and 46,799 SHGs to be provided community investment fund during the year 2021-22. Under the MGNREGA, mobile monitoring system for on-spot capturing of attendance of MGNREGA workers through mobile application to be introduced. Number of works expected to be taken up is 0.6 lakhs, out of which 30% water conservation works and 30% individual beneficiary oriented works targeted to be completed. 3.5 crore person days targeted to be generated. Under Jal Shakti, 100% piped water connections to every rural household of the Union Territory by September 2022 under Jal Jeevan Mission is expected. 3.83 lakh water connections to be provided during 2021-22. 57 ongoing minor irrigation schemes under AIBP PMKSY, that is Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana to be completed during the year 2021-22. Irrigation potential of more than 0.19 lakh hectare to be achieved. Now, what does the budget provide under Social Security for the people of Jammu and Kashmir? 100% saturation level in social security schemes during 2021-22 through DBT, that is Direct Benefit Transfer mode. Out of 6,000 posts created for Kashmiri migrants under PM package, 3,841 posts stand filled and the remaining being recruited currently. 100% coverage of pre-matric and post-matric, that is 10th board exams, scholarship to Gujjar and Bakarwal students and ST students with 100% disbursement through DBT. Let us look at the schemes for educational infrastructure under the annual budget. 723 ICT labs to be established in equal number of secondary and senior secondary schools at a cost of Rs 46.27 crores. 40 Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya buildings worth Rs 43.33 crores to be completed. Completion of 10 degree college buildings at various locations, namely Banihal, Kupwara, Gul, Khilotra, Mahor, Kalakot, Hadipura, Singhpura, Vilgam and Paddar. 1,000 students to be trained under Skill Enhancement Training, that is SCT scheme. Now let us look at the schemes under transport infrastructure. Launch of Jammu and Kashmir PWD online monitoring system with effect from 1st April 2021, in which all the activities, right from preparation of DPR to final bill payment, to be done in online mode. Establishment of quality control laboratory for every district. Under PMGSY, that is Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana 1 and 2, road length of 4,500 kilometers to be completed during the year 2021-22 and 150 new habitations are targeted to be given road connectivity. 14 bridges are targeted to be completed in the year 2021-22. Let us look at some of the other initiatives in other sectors. In employment and skill development, 2 centers for invention, innovation, incubation and training, that is CIIT, in collaboration with Tata Technologies are being established at the Government Polytechnic Jammu and Government Polytechnic Baramulla for upskilling of students of technical institutions in industry relevant courses. In the sports sector, organizing Premier League in 4 disciplines, which are football, kabaddi, volleyball and hockey, with an expected involvement of 8,500 participants. In technology, 3,000 solar street lights to be installed in suitable public places in the year 2021-22. Security. For the security sector, construction and completion of community and individual bunkers in border areas. So that was all in this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it and it helps in your preparation. For more such amazing content, keep watching Olive Board.